Hoda Recap doing another great video, guys. Before we begin, a critical disclaimer: this is not a diagnosis. Dexter Morgan is a fictional character, and autism is a complex, real-world spectrum. However, the character's construction by writers and actors has led many viewers, including those within the autistic community, to see reflections of the autistic experience in his portrayal. This analysis explores those resonances, the why behind the perception. Dexter Morgan is a unique creation. A forensic blood spatter analyst by day, a vigilante serial killer by night. But his most defining characteristic, the engine of the show's drama, is his profound disconnect from the social and emotional world. He describes himself as empty, wearing a human mask to blend in. So why does this specific portrayal of alienation feel, to so many, distinctly autistic? Let's start with the core: social scripting and performance. Dexter does not intuitively understand social cues, norms, or emotions. He studies them. He actively learns the scripts for human interaction. A laugh at a joke. A sympathetic face at a funeral. A reassuring touch for his girlfriend, Rita. He rehearses them in his head, often getting them slightly wrong, too loud, too late, too hollow. This is a central experience for many autistic people. The conscious, exhausting work of performing neurotypicality, often called masking. Dexter's dark passenger is his true, obsessive self, but his human mask is his literal survival script. He is a forensic anthropologist of human behavior, dissecting it in order to mimic it, just as he dissects his victims. His narration is a constant guide to this process, explaining the why behind a smile or a hug that feels utterly foreign to him. Next, special interests and rigid systems. The autistic mind often gravitates toward intense, deep passions and finds comfort in predictable rules and systems. Dexter has two overwhelming special interests. The first is blood spatter analysis. He doesn't just do the job, he is fascinated by the patterns, the physics, the story it tells. It's a world of logic and order. The second, of course, is his Code of Harry. This is his ultimate system. It provides rigid, black and white rules for his chaotic urges: only kill the guilty, never get caught, maintain appearances. The code is his operating system. It tells him exactly what to do in social situations: bring donuts to the office, and moral ones. Without it, he is lost. He clings to rituals, his pre-kill routine, his meticulous slide collection. These structures create a framework for a world he otherwise finds senseless and overwhelming. Now, sensory and emotional processing. Dexter often describes emotions as a distant, muffled signal. He observes his own reactions as if from the outside. When his wife Rita is killed, he notes he should feel devastation, but instead feels a hollow shock and a predatory focus on revenge. This is not a lack of feeling, but a profound disconnect between feeling and the cognitive recognition of that feeling, a trait known as alexithymia, common in autism. Furthermore, note his sensory environment. He is at peace in the sterile, controlled space of the blood lab, or in the silent, dark isolation of the shipping containers where he kills. Chaotic, loud, emotionally charged environments, like a police station brawl or a family birthday party, clearly drain and disorient him. He seeks controlled sensory input to regulate himself. Let's talk about literal thinking and social confusion. Dexter famously misses metaphors, subtext, and sarcasm. He takes things at face value. Jokes often fly over his head unless they are logical or dark. He is frequently baffled by the irrational, emotional decisions of his sister Deborah or his colleagues. Their motivations, love, jealousy, pride, are puzzles to be solved, not instincts to be understood. His relationships are transactional or learned. He marries Rita because it's the logical next step in his cover story, and he slowly, painstakingly learns to care for her and her children through a framework of rules and observations, not innate emotional bonding. His connection to his sister Deb is the most genuine, yet even that is often a series of decoded social obligations and a protective instinct he's been taught to value. The critical counterargument: psychopathy versus autism. The show's text explicitly frames Dexter as a psychopath or sociopath, molded by childhood trauma. The key distinction often lies in motivation. A classic psychopathic trope is a lack of empathy used for manipulation and gain. Dexter, however, is not motivated by personal gain or a desire to harm the innocent. He is driven by an obsessive, ritualistic need to fulfill his dark passenger within the safe confines of his code. His mask isn't worn to manipulate for fun or profit, but for survival and to protect the few people he has come to value. His moral compass, while wildly skewed, exists and is rigidly adhered to. This internal morality, this rule-based desire to do good with his urges, resonates more with an autistic struggle to apply a logical system to a confusing world than with the chaotic self-interest of classic psychopathy. In conclusion, Dexter Morgan is not an autistic character. He is a character built on the idea of profound neurodivergence, of a brain that works on a fundamentally different operating system. The writers use traits, social scripting, systemizing, literal thinking, emotional disconnect, that overlap significantly with the autistic experience to construct his unique form of alienation. This is why the perception exists. For many viewers, he became a rare, if dark and exaggerated, representation of what it can feel like to navigate the world through a manual everyone else seems to have been born with. His story is ultimately about the terrifying and poignant effort to build a life, to connect, and to be human when the very software for being human feels like it was never installed. He doesn't look autistic because he is one. He looks autistic because his fiction accidentally holds up a distorted, yet recognizable, mirror to a very real neurotype. Thanks for watching UN Hoda Recap. If you want more videos and Dexter Autistic moment, just leave a like and a comment.